Hello, I want to talk to you a little bit about variable names in Python, which you read this yesterday, and I just want to go over it quickly before we go over the worksheet together. So when you are writing variable names in Python, make sure they only contain uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores. If you put any other cutesy characters in there, like a hashtag or an @ sign or a period even, it's going to show as an error. So don't do that. When you write variable names, they should begin with a lowercase letter. Python will allow them to have an uppercase letter, but Mrs. Scott will not allow them to have an uppercase letter because that's not good form. So they should always begin with a lowercase letter. You'll get an error if they start with a number or an underscore. You won't get an error if they're uppercase letter, but you will get a nasty look from Mrs. Scott. You can't have any spaces in there because Python reads that as another, the white space, the space that you would have in there reads that as like it's another variable. So make sure you don't try to put spaces in your variable names. And variable names, as well as anything else you do in Python, is case sensitive. So like we have down here, capital A equals 2 and lowercase a equals 7. Python reads those as completely different variable names. So be sure you keep that in mind. And then I want to go over these and talk about why they're not good or good. So here are some legal variable names. These are all fine. Starts with a lowercase letter, doesn't have any spaces, only has letters, numbers, underscores. So that one's fine. Distance is fine. DS9, also fine. No problem. And then this column has illegal variable names. And if you look at first name, it seems okay, but there's a space in there. So Python there would be an error for sure there. Down here, when we come to 9DS, that one's not good because it starts with a number. And so that would be an error again in Python. And then this 1% correct is no good because of the percent sign. So it can't have anything but letters, numbers, and underscores. So over here in this third column, we have things that are legal. So Python would let this be a variable name, but it's not proper. And so your teacher will not let you have that. So first name, if you change this to a lowercase f, it would be okay. But the way it is written now is not great. D and X are okay, like they would work, but your variable names need to be more descriptive. So you want to try to have something that will help you as you're, writing program or writing formulas and that sort of thing that will help it make sense. So even if you just do dist for distance, that would be fine. And X just would need to be, if it were started with a lowercase and had some sort of like xval or something like that, if it was an x value on a chart or graph, that would be okay. But just regular old capital X, not so much. So the only time we do use capitals, all uppercase variables or letters in a variable name, is if it's a constant. So if you've got some value that is not going to change, it's still assigned to a variable, but that variable will not change throughout the program, then it can be an uppercase variable. So here's an example, max speed down here, that is never going to change throughout the game or while the program is running, then it should be all caps. But that's pretty rare. Most of the time your variables are going to start with a lowercase letter. So you have that document from yesterday, from August 17th. Google Classroom. And then you have this worksheet. So let's go through here and I'm going to kind of get you started and show you how I'd like for you to do this. And then I would like for you to finish it and you can turn it in Google Classroom. So you don't have to put your name in here because it's going to have your name already. I used to copy we would pass them out in class, but we're doing it digitally this time. Okay, so we're crossing out the invalid variables. Instead of having to find the strike through, we're just going to make these a really light gray. So for example, the word input is a reserved word. So variable names can't be reserved words or you're going to get a mean message, an error message. So I'm just going to pick a light gray. So that one's no good. My dog, and this is in camel case when you start the beginning letter of each word in a variable name with a capital letter, that's called camel case. This is okay. So my dog's fine. And if you want to make it bold, you can. If you just want to leave it normal, you can, as long as you can tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. So that one's good. We'll leave it. Your dog is not good because there's a space in there. So that we're going to make gray. All right. His dog with an underscore is fine. That was a valid variable name. Billy is fine, so we do not need to change that to light gray. And name 2 is also fine. This one's okay. So again, so the top row of this particular section is finished. We have made the ones that are bad, the bad variable names that will produce errors. We have made those light gray, and we haven't gotten to input yet. You will, start using that very soon. So that's why that needs to be gray. And we'll talk about that more as we get going a little bit. We just don't know very many keywords yet. I'm going to let you do this second row here on your own. I will tell you there are not any keywords in the second row, so that shouldn't throw you at all. So this second row you can do on your own, and then you'll get that turned in. There's more that you need to do before you turn it in. Then you're just going to predict the output. So for program 1, and I just want to have you come out here and you're going to type what you think. If you put this in repl.it in main.py and then you ran it, what would happen? And we're going to take these as separate lines. So we're going to say what each line what would happen. So let's make those in a different color so I can easily tell what you've done. So you can do bright blue or bright red, something bright that I'll be able to see. Please don't use yellow or, baby pink or anything like that. Okay, so for color, we have print, and then in quotes, we have the word color. So we know that anything inside a print statement that is inside quotation marks is going to print exactly what you see there. So we're going to come over here. Oh, where's my red? And it would, it went away. And it's going to print the word color. All right. I don't know why I can't make the text red, but I'm going to try again. There we go. And then for this one, it's trying to print color. And if it's not in quotation marks, then Python reads this as a variable, like a variable name. If we have not previously assigned a value to the variable name color, then this would just give us an error. And you can just put error there. And again, if you would put that in a color, that would be great. So here you can tell there's a variable named color and it has been assigned string value red. It's in quotation marks, so it's okay to do that. It's a string value, it's just some text. So then when it says print color, it would print red. So if you want to see that that works, you can copy what you see here, those 2 lines of code, and paste that into main.py when you're on repl.it and run it. And you'll see that it will print red. Okay, so for program 3 and 4 and 5, I would like for you to, for 3, I don't think you're going to need to put it in Replit, but, or repl.it. But for 4 and 5, you probably will. So you can copy that code, paste it into main.py, and then just come back into this document and type what you saw on the output screen in the console on repl.it. And please make it whatever color you use for this particular document. Okay, so then you will turn this document in on Google Classroom. I hope that makes sense to you. And good luck.